Hello, my name is Kate Storm, and I'm a doctoral student at the University of Southern California studying the grand challenges of social work, specifically the grand challenge of eradicating social isolation. I'm also the chair of the board of directors at a local nonprofit called Westboro Connects, with a mission to create essential human connection. We are a values based organization that believes in an abundance mindset. We believe that there is enough to go around, enough love, enough resources. There is enough for everyone when we live together in community. What brought me to social work and to this work of human connection is a deeply held belief that every human has value. Let me say that again. Every human has value. Each one of us is someone's daughter, son, sister, brother, parent, grandparent, friend, classmate, mentor, coworker, neighbor. Each of us matters to someone. Yet over half of Americans feel lonely. Only 39% of American adults feel connected to others, and nearly 20% of Americans feel like they don't belong anywhere. A sense of belonging, being understood and accepted for who you are, is so innate to our existence that we often don't even consider it until it's gone. But when that crisis hits, the threat of not belonging forces us into camps of us versus them, just to feel a sense of belonging with someone, anyone. As a result, we've become polarized. Trust in each other and our institutions has shrunk significantly in the past several decades. Political polarization is so wide that a Pew Center poll recently found that 9 in 10 registered voters of both parties believed that a victory of the other side would lead to lasting harm to the United States. Individuals seeking connection at the expense of others is rising. Hate groups have doubled since 1999, and the all too familiar picture of the socially isolated mass shooter is an ever present news story. But it doesn't have to be this way. We are not doomed to this polarized state. The simple act of kindness can be our path forward. Hear me out. We are a social species, biologically wired to connect, and we now live in a time where we can be more connected than ever before. I can text, tweet, DM, Marco Polo, Voxer, Zoom, Slack, chat, or even email my neighbor across the street or my BFF in England at any time of day or night. These digital platforms allow us to keep in touch with friends from elementary school or poll the neighborhood to see who has a cup of sugar. Yet in our increasingly digital world, we find ourselves feeling isolated, invisible, and insignificant. The pandemic definitely did not help, but loneliness and social isolation was a problem well before COVID-19 ever entered our lives. Belonging has been on a steady decline since the late 1960s, and now only 1 in 4 Americans reports a sense of belonging in their local community. Some of the highest rates of loneliness are among young adults, lower income adults, and those that experience discrimination based on race, religion, sexual orientation, gender identity, disability, or immigration status. Youth loneliness has been increasing year over year and has reached such epic proportions that suicide is now the second leading cause of death for young people ages 10 to 34. I believe a crisis of empathy is at the core of the problem. Americans are spending less and less time in face to face interaction and more time engaging with our screens. This century has seen sharp declines in engagement with friends and others outside of our family. And anyone who's witnessed cell phones at the dinner table can tell you that engagement within families is declining as well. Church attendance is down. Community involvement like Rotary clubs, civic clubs is all but extinct. Even unions are suffering low membership rates. Yet Americans spend an average of 6 hours a day on digital media, and 1 in 3 US adults report being online almost constantly. While there are definite benefits to technology, we are delusional to think that there aren't huge consequences as well. Empathy, a skill that helps us relate to each other, putting yourself in someone else's shoes, as we often say, has decreased by 48% in the last 30 years. And it's no wonder. All of those institutions, like community groups and houses of worship, those were our practice grounds, the social infrastructure for empathy, if you will, and they are crumbling. Loneliness is a universal experience that everyone experiences at one time or another. Even when we are surrounded by other people, there are times when we don't really feel like we belong. Most of us have the experience of being the new kid, the different kid, or the only kid at some point. It's estimated that Americans move, on average, 11.7 times in their lifetime. I've lived in 12 different communities in my lifetime thus far, 4 different states and 2 different countries. So one could say I'm slightly above average. In actuality, I'm 100% average. I'm so average that people I've met several times act like they're meeting me for the first time. I also get, "You look so familiar. Have we met before?" Nope. I'm just your common Kate. My commonness is something that I used to resent. I always wish I had something that was just a little different, a little cool. It's 100% why I took my husband's last name, but I digress. The experience of living in 12 different communities has given me an insider look into being the new kid and what loneliness feels like. Sometimes being new, different, or the only is exciting and garners a lot of attention. But like a shiny new toy, without the genuine interest in its value, it'll get discarded pretty quickly. One of my earliest memories of moving to a new place is from second grade. My family moved an hour east from the Berkshire Mountains to the Pioneer Valley in Massachusetts, home to some of the most fertile soil in the world, or so the locals like to claim. Both were small town communities, the biggest difference being elevation and the fact that I didn't have a neighborhood of kids that I knew anymore. My best friend from the Berkshires was a boy named Mikey, and he lived in the house behind me. Mikey had childhood leukemia and often got teased for some of his ailments that made him have a hard time keeping up with some of the other neighborhood kids. But I loved Mikey. He was my best friend. He loved to play Cabbage Patch Kids with me, and we both had a fondness for climbing the lilac tree that grew thick vines between our fences. Mikey passed away when I was in first grade. So moving to a new community that summer, I felt an emptiness that I didn't really know how to fill. I wasn't sure if anyone else at my new school would understand what it was like to have a best friend who died. My new school was abuzz with excitement that fall because there were a couple of new kids in town, myself, my little brother, and a girl named Frida. Frida was new to town too, but she also looked different than every other kid in the small white community. She was the only person with brown skin. Some of the kids started calling her dirty and smelly and other mean things. Instinctively, I knew all of this was wrong, but I was the shiny new toy that was getting some attention, so I let it go. I even joined in on some of the behind her back teasing. To make Frida feel like she was an outsider was an easy way for me to feel like a sense of belonging for myself. But I saw her tears, and I remembered Mikey's tears when someone teased him for losing his hair. I remember what it felt like to have someone in my life who had the capacity for love and pain and just wanted to belong. I stopped teasing Frida and offered kindness instead. Other classmates followed suit. This story of my first memory of empathy is the foundation for my belief that all humans have value, and I have Frida to thank for that. Mikey had value. Frida had value. My classmates had value. I have value. We have value because of our capacity for kindness and forgiveness. We are incredible animals with vast intelligence, imagination, and self-awareness. Humans created the wheel, the aqueduct, the printing press, television, Legos, the internet, and now even artificial intelligence. Yet we are a fallible species. We also created cigarettes, Ancient Orange, racism, homophobia, email spam, New Coke, and tanning beds. Now, I'm not trying to equate the horrors of racism, homophobia, or any other form of oppression to New Coke and tanning beds. But what I am trying to point out is that these are all human manufactured failures. We invented them, but we can also disassemble them. We make mistakes. We can't always make up for our mistakes, but we can learn from them. Our frailties do not need to be our legacy. The beauty of the human race is its self-awareness. Psychologists have proven time and time again that it is possible to grow our mindset. We can change how we think about ourselves and each other. We have the capacity to expand our hearts and practice kindness towards ourselves and others. This process of developing empathy starts in childhood, just like it did for me with Mikey and Frida. But it doesn't end there. Our social and emotional development is not static. It is a lifelong process that evolves with each new experience, every interaction, each relationship. Empathy is a muscle that needs to be exercised. It needs training to develop and grow stronger over time. Like a fad diet, we've substituted our human relationship with virtual ones, forgetting that sustained connection comes from the simple act of listening and seeing each other's common humanity. Through storytelling, active listening, and deliberate acts of kindness, we can grow our collective empathy and lose the heavy toll that loneliness has taken on our society. Storytelling, like mine of Mikey and Frida, requires vulnerability. But remember, we are all fallible. We make mistakes, but we also have the capacity for growth. Active listening is at the heart of any empathy practice. Put down your phone, open your eyes, your ears, and your heart to what the person across from you is saying. See their humanity in all its glory. You will feel joy and you will hear pain. I guarantee it will be messy, but it will transform you. Be kind. A simple act of kindness, saying hello, offering a meal to a neighbor in need, giving a hug, writing a thank you note. These simple acts can make a huge difference in someone's sense of belonging. Kindness is empathy's greatest gift. We can change the trajectory of belonging in America, but it's going to take all of us. This isn't a problem that can be solved through policy or programs alone. We are all affected by loneliness, and intentionally or not, we can inflict it on others. What I'm offering here today is not new or innovative, but a call to believe, a call that we as individuals, as businesses, as institutions, as communities, and as a nation can answer together. The United Kingdom led the charge in answering this call by appointing a Minister of Loneliness to their executive cabinet in 2018. The US has taken a little bit longer, but we're catching up. Surgeon General Dr. Vivek Murthy declared an epidemic of loneliness on May 2nd of this year and put out an advisory with a 6-pillar plan. Senator Chris Murphy of Connecticut issued a bill just last month called the National Strategy for Connection Act that would establish an office within the executive branch of the president to combat loneliness and strengthen communities. These actions are like the roads and bridges of our social infrastructure. They support the larger picture so that businesses and local communities and individuals have a plan to work together. Businesses have started to heed the call as well. More and more studies show that diversity is beneficial to a business's bottom line, but not without belonging. Lack of belonging is one of the top 3 reasons why employees leave a job. Diversity alone doesn't cut it. Employees want to feel connected, to have a sense of belonging, and to be valued for who they are. The social infrastructure laid out in Dr. Murphy's advisory and Senator Murphy's bill provides support for a system of belonging that permeates our institutions, including the workplace. Even though I may have led you to believe that I think technology is the devil, I actually believe there are numerous benefits to technology, even social media. Shh, don't tell anyone I said that. Especially for those who have limited access to welcoming physical spaces. Technology can be a tool for connection. For example, it can help us find our senator's number to call and support Senator Murphy's bill. Visit senate.gov to find yours. And it's also a useful tool for identifying the local community organizations in your area that are working on building belonging. In fact, I want to tell you about one that's in my area. I want you to open your phone's browser right now and type in westboroconnects.org. That's WESTBOROUGHCONNECTS.org. westboroconnects.org. And click on Get Involved. There, you will find a community that is building essential human connection through community programming and volunteer opportunities. There is something for everyone at Westboro Connects. Local Westboro businesses looking for opportunities to boost belonging amongst employees can donate or become partners in kindness during our Kindness Week programming in November. Partnering with Westboro Connects through sponsorship is a wonderful way to encourage belonging amongst your employees and local community. Our Executive Director, Kelly, would be more than happy to speak with you about our various sponsorship opportunities. Connect with her through our website's Contact Us page. Collaborating with community groups to deliver programming is one of our greatest honors. We love your donations and your community leadership. Whether you are a resident, employee, patron, or occasional visitor to Westboro, all of the common Kates, regular Roberts, and super Sanjanas are welcome. Your donation matters. Your volunteer time matters. Any amount helps and goes towards our 4 annual anchor programs. Westboro for Life, Stay Connect Thrive, a club fair for adults. Westboro Unplugs, which is a whole week of screen-free programming to get us unplugged and outdoors. Our Martin Luther King Jr. Community Celebration is where our organizational value of kindness without justice is incomplete is on full display. And of course, our signature Kindness Week, a week where we dedicate ourselves to intentional acts of kindness. Your donation and your time can also be spent on more intimate programming, like Phone Buddies, a telephone program with homebound seniors, where you can listen to their stories, share yours, and heal your loneliness together, as well as our Connect Over Coffees, where we informally gather at local coffee shops to connect. As I said, there's something for everyone with Westboro Connects. While you're at our website, regardless of whether you're a business owner, community group leader, or neighbor, sign up to receive our newsletter. It's chock full of free events that are accessible to anyone, as well as resources filled with tips and tricks on how to boost your community connection. It's time to disconnect from our devices and reconnect with one another. Join Westboro Connects. Remember, you are an amazing and fallible human with value. You are capable of growth and love. Help others see their value too.